Hello guys, welcome back to another video. Today we have revisited Spider-Man. Spider-Man is from 2002. It is a Sony movie and it is the one that stars Tobey Maguire. Arguably the movie that very much started probably the MCU off. Very much the movie that was kind of like the beginning of like the Marvel comic book movies. We did have obviously the Batman stuff and the Superman stuff in like the 70s, 80s and even the 90s, etc. But with Marvel, I believe this is like the first one. Directed by Sam Raimi, starring Tobey Maguire, James Franco, Kirsten Dunst, Willem Dafoe. And yeah, I've just watched it. This is probably the first time I've watched this in about 10 years, maybe even longer. And it's still I gotta say, this is gonna be the best one in my Spider-Man ranking thing. This is like, for me, like the best movie because it's just got full of nostalgia. Just watching this again, it was just brought back so much memories. I think it was just under 2 hours long. You know, we had the famous, you can see it in the back, the famous kiss there. And Tobey Maguire for me is just the absolute definition of what Spider-Man is. This is a perfect story. I'm a big watcher of the Amazing Spider-Man 1993 animated series, and every character in that series for me just looks and is perfectly represented in this movie. You know, the look of each of the characters is just done really well, and it's just it's the best carbon copy of that. Nowadays, the looks of the characters and the age ranges even are very different, and that's kind of one of the things for me as an original Spider-Man fan, I guess, way back in the day. Revisiting this movie, how does it hold up? I was pretty disappointed with the 4K version of this film, I'm not gonna lie. I mean, it is like a practically, 19-year-old film, so it was never going to be like an amazing crispy looking image. What was impressive though, for the first time ever, was a Dolby Atmos soundtrack. So I did get to re-experience that. That was very, very nice. Well, not re-experience, actually experienced it for the first time. So that was good. There was some real good uses of the overhead shots. I think Spider-Man's a great example for Dolby Atmos. Whenever he fires the web, I feel like you can hear that above you, like sticking to the buildings and stuff like that. It's done really well and quite effectively. I don't think it's overused, but it's done well. Spider-Man though, for me, this is like his best suit. I think this suit looks incredible, and the detail on it is just amazing. I think for me, it's just the best. I had this as like fancy dress. As I say, it's a bit of nostalgia with this film. It's the first one of my like revisiting of all the Spider-Mans that I'm going to be doing over the next few months, but we're starting off with a banger. This is great. When we get into Spider-Man 2 and 3, they're the ones I kind of don't know the details on, but this one I knew this back to back. This was like the one that I watched over and over again when it first came out, and you know, an amazing score. Danny Elfman doing the music as well. That itself's got a bunch of nostalgia in it, and you know, Tobey Maguire, you know, he was just brilliant. He is Peter Parker. He is Spider-Man. That is like the perfect casting. He just did the role perfectly. Revisiting this though, and if I was going to rate it now, I would definitely go in and rate this as an 8.5 out of 10. For me, it's just like the perfect origin story of Spider-Man. It's just done really, really well. The only things I think were maybe a bit you know, that wasn't that effective is kind of like the high school stuff. Like the high school stuff can be good, but in this movie it was done in some ways good, but also quite repetitive. There were some bits where it was just overusing some of the types of bullying that was getting done. It was just a bit like, you know, yeah, we get the point he's like a dorky kid or whatever, but we haven't got to drown on for that a few times. But you know, I think that was good. Some of the effects obviously didn't look as great. There's the famous shot of Kirsten Dunst and the mannequin of Spider-Man, like, so because the sky is moving the opposite way and stuff. So there's a few little bits like that which doesn't really add up. But for a 2-hour movie, it's got great fun. The Uncle Ben passing away scene for me is much better than the Amazing Spider-Man Uncle Ben scene. There's a lot more emotion in that scene in this version over that version. And yeah, speaking of that, stay tuned for my videos coming soon. We're going to be doing all the Amazing Spider-Man, all the rest of this trilogy, as well as Far From Home and Homecoming. Stay tuned for that in the run-up to No Way Home. But yeah, 8.5 out of 10 I think is a fair score. It's kicking off with the first Spider-Man movie here. There you go though, guys. Thank you so much for watching today's revisiting. Stay tuned for more, and I of course will see you in the next one. Goodbye.